I remember the first time I truly felt my life slipping away. I was lying in a hospital bed, tubes running into my arms, monitors beeping in a rhythm I barely noticed anymore. My body felt heavy, as if it no longer belonged to me. I tried to speak, to call out, but no words came. It was like the air had turned to lead. Then I heard it, my family, their voices muffled through the hospital walls, trembling with fear. My daughter's sobs, my wife's strained cries. I had never felt such a deep ache, knowing I could not reach them, could not tell them it would be okay. Maybe you have felt this, the helplessness, the quiet panic that fills a room when someone you love is slipping away. It started with a strange warmth in my chest, not pain, but a soft pulling, like someone had gently opened a door inside me. My breathing slowed, and I felt lighter, almost weightless. My body, still tied to the hospital bed, began to feel distant. I was aware of it, but I was no longer confined to it. I could feel myself floating, rising above the monitors, above the sterile smell of antiseptic, above the crying voices that had become sharper, clearer. I looked down and saw myself, my own body, pale and still, lying helpless on the bed. I wanted to touch it, to reassure it, though I knew it was mine. Most people do not talk about this moment, the first time you truly realize your soul can exist apart from your body. I did not feel afraid. I felt sad. Sad for the people I was leaving behind, for the faces I would no longer see each morning, for the hands I would not hold again. Then the world shifted. The walls of the hospital began to fade, replaced by darkness. But not a frightening darkness. It was soft, velvety, like the sky before dawn. I could hear my family still, crying, calling my name, but it was as if I were hearing them through a distant tunnel. Each sob, each whisper felt sharper and more real. I wanted to go back, to comfort them, but something held me back. And then I heard a voice, soft, calm, almost a whisper in my mind rather than my ears. It is not yet your time, but you will see what lies beyond. I looked around, searching for the source. There was nothing, and yet I felt I was not alone. Most people never encounter this, the quiet presence that seems to know you better than you know yourself. I did not fear it. Somehow I understood it. Time seemed to stretch. I floated in that strange liminal space, caught between the world of the living and whatever lay beyond. Memories flashed in fragments. My first day of school, holding my child for the first time, the laughter of my wife as we walked through our garden. Each memory pulsed with warmth, and I realized that life is not measured in days or years, but in these moments, these tiny sparks of connection and love. I tried to focus on my family again. I wanted them to know I was there, that I could see them, that I was leaving, but not forever. Their grief pierced me in a way I could not describe. I wished for one more touch, one more word, one more laugh. But the warmth inside me grew stronger, guiding me forward, reminding me that even in leaving, there is peace. And then, slowly, I felt myself pulled upward, away from the hospital, from the sounds of crying, from the life I had known. The darkness around me began to shift, just a little, revealing soft glimmers of light. It was not the sun, nor any earthly glow, but something gentler, kinder. I realized that perhaps this was what I had been told about in stories, whispered in old prayers, dreamed of in quiet moments of hope. I remember thinking, I am leaving, but I am not alone. That thought, simple as it was, brought a quiet calm over me. I was still aware of my body, of the monitors, of the tears of my family, but I was also aware of a vastness beyond understanding, stretching infinitely in every direction. I cannot explain how long I floated there. Minutes, hours, days. Time no longer mattered. Only the presence of that soft warmth, the memories, and the faint echo of the voices I loved. And though I could not reach them, I could feel them, and in that feeling there was a strange, comforting connection that death cannot sever. I realized then that life and death are not opposites, but part of a continuum. Each tear, each laugh, each memory, each heartbeat lives on in ways we cannot see. And as my awareness drifted further, I understood that even as I left my body, I carried with me the essence of everything I had loved, and it carried me back in some way to them. Here is part 2. I could still hear them, my family, through the distance. Their cries had softened now, a dull echo in the space I was floating through. It was strange, feeling so far from them, yet more connected than ever. Every heartbeat, every tear, every whispered name seemed to wrap around me, pulling me forward and back at the same time. The light around me grew, but it was not bright like the sun. It was gentle, like the soft glow of a candle in a quiet room. It shimmered and shifted, moving like liquid, and I realized it was not just light, it was life, memory, emotion. I felt it pulse with everything I had ever felt, everything I had ever loved, and everything I had ever feared. Then I saw her, my wife, or rather a vision of her. She sat in the hospital chair, her head in her hands, shoulders trembling. I wanted to reach her, to tell her it was all right, that I was still here in some way, but I could not. I was weightless, drifting, and all I could do was watch. And yet, even from this distance, I felt her love, fierce and overwhelming. It reached me like a tether, a thread connecting our souls. I remembered something I had almost forgotten. My daughter, the first time she had laughed, the way her tiny hands had held mine as she took her first steps. The memory came rushing back, bright and warm, and I felt tears I could not shed. Maybe that is what they mean when they say life is measured in moments, these sparks of pure connection that never fade, even when the body does. A voice spoke again, soft, patient, guiding. You have more to see, more to understand. It was not human, yet not alien either. It felt familiar, like an old friend waiting for me, someone who knew every piece of my soul. And suddenly, I realized I was ready to see beyond this hospital, beyond the grief, beyond the life I had known. The world shifted again. The hospital, my body, even the light faded, replaced by a space that felt infinite. Stars, maybe, or memories of stars, shimmered around me. I could see entire lifetimes, every joy and sorrow, every choice and chance I had ever made. It was overwhelming, almost too much to bear, yet there was a strange peace in knowing that everything mattered, and yet nothing was lost. I felt my emotions amplify, love, regret, fear, longing, all swirling around me like a storm I could not escape. But in the eye of that storm, there was stillness, a deep, quiet stillness that reminded me of something I had always known but never fully understood, that even in death, even in loss, there is connection, there is meaning. I thought of my family again, my daughter, now older, growing without me, my wife, carrying the weight of grief and yet still breathing, still loving. I could not return to them, not yet, not in the way I wanted, but I could watch and I could feel, and that feeling was enough for now. Then I began to notice something else, other presences, faint, almost invisible. Not human, not like the voice that guided me, but echoes. Souls, maybe, drifting like I was, each caught between worlds. Some were lost, fearful, calling out for something they could not name. Others were calm, at peace, gliding gently toward the light. And I realized then that I was part of something larger, something vast and eternal, beyond comprehension, yet intimately personal. The warmth grew stronger. It no longer came from the glow around me, but from inside. My own soul, I realized, was shining, connected to the endless stream of light and presence around me. I understood then that this is what it means to truly leave the body, not to vanish, not to cease, but to merge, to become aware of the depth and breadth of existence. And yet, even as I drifted further, I felt the tug of humanity, the pull of love and loss that I could never fully escape. My family's voices, once so distant, grew stronger again. I could feel their hearts breaking, and it ached inside me in a way I had never known. I wanted to go back, to cradle them, to tell them I was still here, but I understood I could not. Some things are beyond touch, beyond reach, yet still profoundly felt. The guiding presence whispered again, almost gently, "It is not yet your time. You will return, but you will carry what you have learned." I did not fully understand, but I felt comforted. Even in this strange, endless space, there is care, there is guidance, there is patience. It was a reminder that life, death, love, and loss are threads woven into a single tapestry, each moment necessary, each pain meaningful. I floated there, suspended between worlds, feeling every fragment of my existence, every heartbeat of those I loved, every spark of light and shadow. And I realized something extraordinary, that even when the body dies, even when the heart stops, the essence of us, the love, the memories, the connections, never truly ends. It flows onward, touching those we leave behind, lingering in ways unseen but deeply felt. For the first time, I did not fear death. I understood that leaving my body was not an end, but a beginning, a continuation of everything I had lived, loved, and lost. And though I could not yet return to my family in the way I wished, I knew that my presence remained, in ways small and unseen, comforting and eternal. The next thing I remember was a sense of movement, not like flying, not like falling, but as if I were being gently carried. The light around me shifted again, warmer now, like the soft glow of early morning sun. I felt neither fear nor excitement, only a calm curiosity, as if I were being shown something important. I began to notice details I had never perceived before. The faint hum of existence, the tiny threads connecting every soul, every life. I could sense them, people I had never met, places I had never seen, moments I had never experienced. Yet somehow they felt familiar. It was as if all of life, past and present, was intertwined in a way I could finally comprehend. And then I saw them, my family again, but this time differently. No longer crying in fear, no longer confined by walls or sadness. They were there, yet not entirely there, as if I was witnessing echoes of them in another reality. My daughter's laughter reached me first, a memory so vivid it brought tears I could not shed. My wife's quiet strength followed, a presence so solid it anchored me even as I drifted further from the hospital bed I had once known. I wanted to speak, to tell them everything, to reassure them that I was still near. But words seemed meaningless here. Instead, I concentrated on feeling. I poured all of my love, all of my longing, into the connection between us, and I felt it return. Even across this strange divide, even beyond life, our bond endured. Maybe that is the truth most people never understand. Love does not end with death. It transcends everything. Time became fluid. I did not count minutes, hours, or days. I floated through moments of my life, revisiting memories I had long forgotten. I saw my childhood home, the garden my parents had tended, the street where I had learned to ride my bike. Every memory shimmered, alive with emotion, and I realized that life is not merely a sequence of events. It is a tapestry of feelings, connections, and choices. I sensed something approaching, a presence, silent yet commanding, moving toward me with quiet certainty. Not threatening, not frightening, just immense. I did not know if it was a guide, a being, or simply a force of this afterlife, but I knew instinctively that I was meant to encounter it. It appeared as a shifting figure, neither fully human nor completely abstract. Its form radiated warmth and light, yet it held a depth that was impossible to fully comprehend. I felt no fear, only a profound awe. The voice returned, this time more distinct, not just in my mind, but in every fiber of my being. You have seen much, but there is more to understand. Life is more than survival, more than sorrow, more than joy. It is connection, it is presence, it is love. And then, the weight of my own life hit me in a way I had never felt before. All the regrets, the mistakes, the harsh words, the missed moments, they surged through me. I felt each one, fully, without defense or denial. I saw the faces I had hurt, the opportunities I had lost, the small kindnesses I had ignored. And yet, I also saw the good, the love I had given, the lives I had touched, the laughter I had shared. I realized that life is not measured by perfection, but by effort, presence, and impact. The presence gestured, or perhaps I understood it intuitively. It did not speak in words, but in feeling. It guided me toward visions of my family again, showing me their resilience, their grief, and their enduring love. They were still hurting, yes, but they were also surviving, learning, and growing. I understood then that life continues, even after we leave, even when our physical presence is gone. I drifted further into this realization, feeling a profound peace settle over me. The hospital bed, the monitors, the crying, they were all part of a story that had ended for my body, but not for my soul. I could feel their hearts, their emotions, their lives, as clearly as if I were beside them. And in that awareness, I understood something I had never known before. Love does not die. It transforms, it persists, it remains even in absence. I wanted to linger here forever, suspended between the echoes of life and the vastness of the afterlife. But the presence reminded me gently, patiently, that there was still a thread pulling me back. Not yet to the hospital, not yet to my body, but to understanding my role in both life and death. I realized then that this journey was not punishment or reward, it was clarity, a chance to see the invisible, to feel the unseen, to understand the connections that bind all things. And in that moment, I understood the depth of my own existence and the value of those I had loved. I felt no fear, no longing, no sadness, only the quiet certainty that even as my body remained behind, my essence, my awareness, my soul continued. And in that continuation there was meaning, there was purpose, there was calm. As I drifted, I felt a gentle pull, neither forceful nor abrupt, but insistent, a tether guiding me forward. The presence, calm and silent, moved beside me. I did not need words. I understood instinctively that it was showing me the path between life and what lies beyond, the delicate boundary that separates being from not being. I sensed that I was nearing a choice, a moment of decision I had not expected. My thoughts turned again to my family. I could still hear them, though more faintly now, as if through a thick curtain. My wife, her head bowed, hands clutching the edge of her chair, the subtle tremor in her shoulders. My daughter, wiping her eyes, trying to stay strong. Their grief was sharp, slicing through the warmth around me. It was strange, though I was no longer part of their world in the way I had been, their suffering still reached me, and I felt the weight of it in every fiber of my being. Maybe this is what people mean when they say love never dies. Even in separation, even in absence, it persists, shaping our experience, guiding us. I thought about the hospital bed I had left behind, the machines that had once kept me tethered to life. I thought about the doctors, the nurses, the beeping monitors that seemed so insignificant now. My body, pale and still, lay there, and yet it was not me anymore. I understood that what I had been, what I had always been, was not the flesh and bones, the heartbeat and breath, but the awareness, the consciousness that observed, felt, and loved. My life had been measured in moments, yes, but my essence stretched beyond those moments, beyond the room, beyond the cries of those I loved. The light around me shifted again, warmer now, more vibrant, pulsating like a heartbeat of its own. It was not harsh or blinding. It was gentle, soft, welcoming. I realized then that it was not just light. It was life itself, the continuity of existence, the energy that connects all beings, past, present, and future. I felt myself merging with it, not losing my identity, but expanding, becoming part of something far greater than I had ever imagined. Memories came flooding back, every joy, every sorrow, every fleeting moment of connection I had ever experienced. I saw my childhood, the first time I rode a bicycle and fell, the laughter of my parents as they helped me up. I saw the years I had spent building my life, the struggles, the successes, the small acts of kindness I had offered without thought. I saw the faces of friends, colleagues, strangers whose lives I had touched in ways I would never know. And through it all, I understood the immense power of presence, of being fully aware, fully conscious, fully alive in every moment. Then the presence moved closer. Its form shimmered, pulsing with light, yet it felt comforting, familiar. I realized it was guiding me not only through the afterlife, but also through understanding. It did not speak, but I felt words, thoughts, impressions, all merging into one. Life is not just what happens to you. Life is what you give, what you feel, what you share. Death is not the end. It is transformation. It is continuation. It is seeing clearly the threads you have woven and knowing that they remain even when you are no longer here. I felt my soul respond to this, a deep resonance vibrating through me, through every memory, every connection, every feeling I had ever experienced. I realized that what I feared most, the leaving, the silence, the unknown, was not really fear at all. It was love, unprocessed, unacknowledged, reaching across the invisible divide. I understood then that love does not end. It simply changes form. It endures, even in the absence of presence. The cries of my family reached me again, closer now, not just as sound, but as energy, as emotion, as connection. My daughter's laughter, faint at first, then stronger. My wife's whispered prayers, her hands clutching nothing but hope. I realized that my love for them, and theirs for me, had not diminished. Though separated by life and death, we remained entwined, threads in a tapestry that stretched beyond understanding. And in that realization, a calm settled over me. A calm so deep I had never known it in life. I felt the gentle tug again, a pull not backward, not forward, but inward, into myself, into understanding. The presence guided me to a vision of my own life in its entirety, not just the moments I remembered, but the moments I had forgotten, the quiet acts of love and courage, the small choices that had shaped the course of my days. I saw the faces I had touched, the hands I had held, the laughter I had shared. And I understood fully, for the first time, that every moment mattered, every connection mattered, every heartbeat, every breath. I thought about the hospital, about the machines, about the doctors who had tried to save me. And I understood that their efforts, their care, their dedication had been part of the same tapestry. Life and death were not separate, but interwoven. Every struggle, every success, every tear, every smile, part of a continuum that could not be broken. Then the presence began to fade, not disappearing, but dissolving into the light that surrounded me. I felt a gentle return, a sense of re-entering, though not fully into the body I had left behind. I was aware of it, yes, of the pale arms and chest that no longer pulsed with life. But I was also aware that my essence, my consciousness, my soul, had grown beyond the physical, beyond the limits of flesh and bone. I was both separate and connected, both observer and participant. I heard my family again, clearer now, though still distant. Their grief had softened, replaced by a tentative calm, a quiet resilience. I realized that even though I could not touch them, even though I could not speak to them in the way I wished, my presence was still there, subtly, gently, invisibly. My love remained, shaping, supporting, enduring. And I knew that they would continue, carrying me in memory, in love, in every small act that honored the bond we shared. And then, finally, a sense of completion, of understanding settled over me. I no longer feared death, no longer worried about what came next. I understood that life is not lost, that love is not lost, that the essence of who we are cannot vanish. I understood that grief, though sharp and real, is only one part of the journey, and that connection, memory, and love endure far beyond the confines of the body. I felt myself drifting higher, lighter, until even the hospital, even my body, even the cries of my family became a gentle hum, a soft vibration in the background of something far greater. And in that final moment, I realized that life is not just the moments we live, but the moments we leave behind, the connections we make, the love we share. After that, I felt a deep calm, a profound peace that I had never known. I was no longer afraid of death. I was no longer afraid of leaving. I understood that I had been part of something eternal, something vast, something beautiful. And though my eyes would close forever, though my body would rest in the hospital, my soul, my awareness, my love would endure. And so, in that light, in that quiet, I let go completely, knowing that my essence would continue, that my family would carry me in memory and in love, and that life, in all its beauty and complexity, goes on. After that day, I no longer feared death, for I had seen what lies beyond, and I had felt the eternal pulse of connection, of love, of life itself.